You are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Weird Science Comics YouTube channel, where I'm going to be reviewing Nightwing number 104, written by Tom Taylor with art by Travis Moore. I've been down on this Nightwing book and Tom Taylor for a bit now, but that wasn't always the case. I actually gave Tom Taylor's first issue of Nightwing my first 10 out of 10 in over 5 years because of how excited I was after reading that issue. But it only took a couple of issues after that for me to get the sinking feeling that this book was more fan service than story, and that Tom Taylor's main goal was to convince the reader that Dick Grayson was a great guy. Now, that's fine and dandy, but I've yet to find a fan who ever thought otherwise. Still, I can see why people like it. You get to see a great guy being a great hero, and just as an aside, my favorite character in all of comics is Dick Grayson and all of his iterations, including Nightwing. But for me, this book, while that's cool, it's a lot of empty calories because there is never much tension because Nightwing rarely, if ever, struggles to do anything. And if he does struggle, his friends arrive to save the day. And this issue pretty much is Exhibit A through Z of all of that. We're going to get into this after I ask everybody to subscribe to the channel, like the video, enable the notifications, and let me know what you think of Nightwing number 104, Nightwing Run, and Tom Taylor in the comments below. Now, I already mentioned it in my Titans review last week, but I'll repeat it again. This book has been a Titans book for quite some time now, and while I love seeing Dick and his friends together, it throws the power levels off of a character in a book that excels at being street level. And because of that, Taylor has to go big, and we get the Titans fighting Neron for the soul of Blockbuster's daughter, Olivia, a story that 100% feels like a Titans story more than a Nightwing one, which is fine enough, but I need some struggle. And where is the struggle here? It isn't physical, because even though the Titans can pretty much take care of anything themselves here, we get the added bonus of Neron giving Dick Grayson the powers of Superman and beyond. Why would he do that? And I'm not talking about Neron. I'm talking about Tom Taylor. Well, he's doing this in my mind for a couple of reasons. First, it allows Dick to clean up all the bad guys trying to take down the Titans and get Olivia lickety-split and just push that aside. Sorry, grinning man, we hardly knew you. Second, it allows Dick to get a new perspective on heroing when Superman shows him just how fragile our planet really is. Even though he even says in this, he's seen this view multiple times. He just hasn't seen it as a Superman type hero. And plus, though, he just saved this fragile planet during Dark Crisis. I think he gets it. Lastly, though, and not least, it actually does set up the tension in the issue, because in the end, Dick is going to have to decide if he should sacrifice cute little girl Olivia in order to keep these new great superpowers. Really? Like, really? If Tom Taylor thought for 1 second that anybody reading this book would be worried that Dick Grayson would send a little girl to hell just to keep these powers, then I think he just believes all the readers of this book are morons. I hate to say it, but that's what he must think. Now, you do get that classic, and it's a cliche. Well, with those powers, you could save 8 trillion people. But Dick Grayson is not going to sacrifice a little girl. He's not going to sacrifice anybody. The only thing that Dick Grayson would ever sacrifice in any sort of situation like this would be himself. So why not play that up? Why not have it that he almost does sacrifice himself until the Titans or somebody or Olivia herself comes in and stops him? Now, that would make sense. I don't even think that Dick Grayson would bat an eye the idea of, hey, sacrifice this little girl and you get your parents back. I mean, that seems like it would be something that you might think about for half a second. But the idea of Dick Grayson, a character who does not need superpowers, who just ended up finishing the Dark Crisis because, guess what? He's a great guy, is never, ever, ever going to send a little girl to hell to get these. It's silly even putting it in here. It's a joke. And it really, that angered me a bit, that in my mind, Tom Taylor thought that what he was doing was setting up some sort of tension with that. And so, spoiler alert, he doesn't do it. But instead, uses the magic charge left in his sticks from Nightmite to show us how much of a monster Neron really is. All right. Again, just things that are pulled out. It's like fan service moments that then lead to callbacks to fan service moments to give us a fan service moment. This is what I'm talking about, of the substance and no struggle or tension in this book. This issue, though, does have an interesting cliffhanger. It involves Raven, but unfortunately, that's for the Titans book, not for this book. So that even made me kind of roll my eyes a bit. And seriously, here's the thing. I know some people will still love this issue, and I'm not saying anything bad about them. I mean, Olivia is just cute as a button, and our heroes save her from an eternity in hell. I can get behind that. But like so many issues in the run, it's just another fluff piece with wow moments but little substance. That's probably fine for casual readers and newer Nightwing fans, but eventually even they will probably end up needing more and wanting more. I'm way beyond that point. I desperately need something. And just as an aside, why didn't he just go right to Bloodhaven and take care of Heartless with these powers? Go and just search. Oh, there he is. Go, boom. Throw him into the sun like Superman used to do. Done and done, right? Now, I love Bruno Redondo's art in this book. Travis Moore actually takes in the fill-in deal here, and he's a great fill-in artist for it. And really, the art has never, ever been an issue in this run. So overall, I'm going to give this issue a 6 out of 10, and that is slightly higher than what I originally was going to give it. But the Olivia parts did make me smile, and I'm a miserable prick trademark, so I really did like those little moments like that. He got me with those, and I do hope we see more of Olivia, even though I was just hoping her name would be Little Blockbuster. That would have been really cool, and that's something that Eric Shea on our DC Comics podcast brought up, and that's what name he wanted. And it's simple enough, but it's kind of cute, and I would have rather have had that than Nightbuster. Sounds like somebody with, like, light powers that comes in. What, you think it's night? Well, I'm busting this shit up. Boom! Daylight. It's not what she does, right? Little Blockbuster. And just as an aside, as I'm leaving here, I do want to mention, as I do sometimes, that if you do want to hear more of an in-depth conversation about this issue and a lot of the other issues that come out each and every week, check out our DC Comics podcast, where we do go with a more deeper dive. I would guess that this issue we'd probably spend about 30 minutes on talking about things. We have fun with it as well. So yeah, check that out if you haven't. I do post the podcast on YouTube, but unfortunately, because of copyright things, I can't include all of my parody songs that I do. And I'd love that if people would want to hear the parody songs as well. Go and look up DC Comics Podcast, look up Weird Science DC Comics Podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts if you do, and listen to it in its purest form. But thanks, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'd love to hear what you think of this issue of Tom Taylor's run. Again, I made sure that I didn't even bring up the idea of signaling or any sort of, social, political things, because really what upsets me about Tom Taylor more than anything is the lack of progression and struggle of his characters in the books. I know other people have reasons why they don't like Tom Taylor. Mine are really more of just the issues themselves and how they play out. And it's something that it seems like he's getting worse and worse with, not better. I used to be a huge Tom Taylor fan, but lately everything kind of seems just like he puts it through the Tom Taylor spreadsheet programmatic, and then it just spits out fan service moments and stuff like that. So let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm getting out of here. Thanks, everybody, and I'll talk to you later.
You are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.